Hello everyone, DM Gashbad here again with another video in my series on the Batman miniatures game. This time I thought I would show off some of the objectives I made. Now, if you're like me and you didn't particularly like the set of objectives that Night Models provides, hopefully these will give you some ideas for ones that you can make yourself. So let's get right into it. Let's start with the loot counters over here. So we'll start with this one. So as you can see, this money bag here, all this is a glob of green stuff that I roughly shaped into a blob that kind of looks like a money bag. And then I went, well, this was a little bit difficult. I went and I found an image on the internet of a dollar bill, and I tried to get the exact proportions or the exact scale for the Batman miniatures game. And so I made a whole bunch of them. I printed it out at that size. I cut them all out, and it just didn't work really well. The scale was off. When I shrunk it down, the colors didn't look right. So I ended up just eyeballing how big I should make them. And then I took the whole thing and I sort of made a thin green wash over the whole thing. So it was kind of more trouble than it was worth. So I'm not 100% thrilled with all this. You can see my lettering on the money bag is off. But, you know, not everything works out the way you want. Anyway, next thing next. This other loot counter is just made from some bits that I had lying around, some piles of coins and a little bag. Couldn't tell you where these came from. I just had them in my bits box. So, unfortunately, that might not be very helpful. But it turned out a little bit better, I thought. So, you know, what can you do? These, though. These are 40k ammo crates. I use those for my ammo objectives, obviously. I think they came with the 3rd edition boxed game. I could be wrong on that, but they're extremely common. I think they sold them separately, some kind of terrain sprue or something like that. Anyway, 40k uses a different scale, but these work pretty well for the Batman miniatures game. They look pretty good as far as the size goes, and they paint up really nicely. So I'm happy. I'm very happy with those. Now, these Riddle counters are an interesting story. So I didn't love the idea of just having these question marks lying around. It didn't make a lot of sense to me. What I did like is in the Arkham Origins video game, you have these encrypted data packs of blackmail material, and I thought those would make good objectives. They're scattered around Gotham City, and they look a lot like this. Now, unfortunately, to get these little things to look like how they did in the video game, I used a lot of weird pieces from my collection. So this bottom part here, which I thought was probably the most important part, with the little slats that the green screen is showing through, that's a magazine from an orc bolter or an orc bolt pistol. There's a particular one that looked the way that I wanted, so I shaved that off and glued it on. The top part is actually a tiny square from a Mordheim window. The side bit is part of 40k binoculars with an old Epic 40k antenna. I think they get stuck on the bases to show which are the command sprues. So it's a lot of oddball pieces that would be hard to replicate if you're looking to use these exact parts. But hopefully, if you want to do something like this, you can just find things that are a little similar. And then it's just stuck into the ground with a little bit of sprue and like a spear shaft or something like that, and put on a regular 40k 25mm base. Now, this is before the Batman miniatures game standardized their base sizes for these objectives. So these aren't great. These aren't exactly the base sizes that I should be using, but I made them this way and I don't want to go and rebase them, so hopefully the people I play with don't have too much of a problem with it. But, you know, I guess I would understand if they did. So here's the Titan containers. I wanted the Titan containers to look a lot more like they did in the video games. So what I did was I took like a 30mm 40k base and I stuck a length of PVC pipe onto it. I took the Dremel and I beveled down the bottom edge to make it a little bit rounded. And then I took a section of cardboard and I wrapped it around the PVC pipe. But I didn't wrap it all the way around. I made it a little bit shorter so there's a little bit of PVC pipe showing that's left over, that there's a little gap right here. And then I just took a collection of washers, stacked them on top of each other, as well as this other little disc. And as you can see, I painted it like so. I painted the thing, the gap, to have a little the green slime in there. Gave it a really rusty effect and hand painted in the Titan logo right there. So yeah, those are my objectives. Hopefully that'll give you some ideas about what you can do if this kind of thing appeals to you. And so yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.